Oh, gosh, come on.
Hello.
Hello. Why is it? Story of my life. Let's unrecord.
Welcome, everyone. Marcy, we'll call the meeting to order.
Sure.
If you read the statement, I greatly appreciate it.
Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided to the public and the press on January 7th, 2020, and on November 5th, 2020, and was posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-7.
At this time, I'd like to make a resolution that Andrew Pitzker stay on as counsel until the vote is certified. I'm under the impression it has not been certified yet. He's received over 7,000 votes. So I would like to make that motion that we vote on the council until that list. So he can vote tonight and we have that fifth member. So is there a second for that resolution, or does anybody think it's not necessary? Because I would like to. Thank you, John. Okay, Marcy, would you take a roll call vote,
Sure.
please?
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pitzker,
Abstain, I would say yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
The resolution carries. So if the mayor's able to, could you present the oath, Mayor? His internet looks like it's unstable because he's frozen. Oh, there you are, Mayor.
Oh, my. Yeah. Am I frozen still?
You're not now, Mayor. I hear you and see you. You're moving.
Boy, I tell you, it's interesting. Okay, so we need to administer the oath to him, even though we're simply just going to carry him over.
Yes.
Okay,
I brought 2 Bibles.
good, good. Would you place your appropriate hand, I guess your right hand on the Bible? Is that the way it should be, or left? Okay, whichever. Please
Right.
repeat after me.
Right hand.
You put your right hand on the Bible. Okay, please repeat after me. I, Andrew Pitzker,
I, Andrew Pitzker,
do solemnly affirm
do solemnly affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do further solemnly affirm
I do further solemnly affirm
that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly
and justly
perform all duties as a member of the Vernon Township Council
perform all the duties as a member of the Vernon Township Council
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my abilities.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. Pitzker.
Thank you very much, and thank you to the voters for voting for me, and to my family for supporting me. And again, to the town council for your advice and guidance, and to the mayor and all the employees who've quickly got me up to speed. Thank you.
Congratulations, Andrew. Now, Marcy, would you take the official roll call?
Yes. Vice President Auerberger,
Here.
Councilmember Murphy,
Here.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Present.
Councilmember Weller,
Here.
Council President Shortway.
Present. Therefore, please rise. Let's say the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the
of the United States of America
and
and
to
to
the
the
republic,
republic for which it stands,
one
one
nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to number 5, public comments for current agenda items only, limited to 3 minutes per person. Please, okay, if the people speaking against, state their name and where they reside at. Could I have a motion to open up public comments on agenda items only?
Motion to
Open to the public.
Sorry, John.
So we have a first, a motion and a second there. I guess they both wanted to be the first, so we're good. Hey, Marcy.
And I do not see any hands, Council President.
Okay, therefore, may I have a motion to close session public comments regarding agenda items?
Motion to close public comment to the current agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Is there anyone opposed? And anybody abstaining? No, looks like we're all in favor. Okay, we'll move on. The minutes, October 15th, 2020 regular meeting, October 26th, 2020 executive session, and October 26th, 2020 regular meeting. There were some last minute changes over the weekend, and if we're okay with it, we'll go on to a vote. But if we have anything to say about the executive, we're going to have to hold that because we can't discuss that one in public if there's a change. We would do that next week. So is there a motion
Harry,
that we
can
accept these
I ask
3 minutes?
Question.
Sure.
I was late to the October 15th meeting, so should I abstain from, probably, I don't know if I was there for part of it, so I don't know how.
I'm sorry, I don't think you missed any of the votes at all.
Okay, I
Council.
just wanted to be sure before.
Okay,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thank you, Kelly. So do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion for the October 15th meeting because the other 2 I need to abstain.
Okay. Do I have a second for October 15th?
Second that.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And John is the only one abstaining. Okay. Motion passed. Okay, the October 26th, both executive and regular meetings. Do we have a motion to accept them?
Motion to accept.
Any second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? No, seeing none, and no abstentions? John, you're okay with this, right?
I'm abstaining
Okay.
from these 2.
These 2, you're abstaining.
Yes.
Okay, let's do this by roll call, Marcy.
Sure,
I'm correcting myself. Let's do it by roll call.
sure. I'll do the October 15th first. We have
Yes.
the first and a second. Vice President Orberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
The dog voted for me, yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries. I'll do October 26th and executive and regular session. Vice President Orberger,
Abstain.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 7, we'll move on to the different resolutions. Resolution 20-230, resolution authorizing award of bid 7-2020 Vernon Crossing Pathway excavation and paving to D.S. Meyer Enterprises LLC. This resolution authorizes an award bid. May I have a motion for resolution 20-230? 230.
I'll make a motion.
Second
I'll
that.
second.
What account is this coming from?
Chuck, can you answer that?
Right, I'm sorry, I was a little slow on unmuting,
Unmuting.
and that's a capital project.
Now, just for the public's, Gene, good thing you brought this up. For the public's sake, I checked this out and asked Chuck also some questions regarding this. This is for the for the VFW disabled vets here, is that we have to do something in compliance for ADA for the pathways around Veterans Park. So we're expanding the width of the pathways from 3 feet to 8 feet so that it's wheelchair accessible. That's why this was brought up. Am I correct, Chuck?
Yes, Councilman, you are. We did the other half of the park from the one parking lot all the way back to where the playground is 2 years ago. And this is the one coming from the parking lot on the other side that goes past the snack bar all the way to the back portion by the playground as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I guess we go to roll call, right? We have a motion, we have a second?
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes?
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 20-231, authorizing to donate outdated municipally owned fire gear to the 911 Fund Incorporated. This resolution authorizes the donation of outdated gear. May I have a motion to approve resolution 20-231?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Sure. Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes, I have a question. No one's going to complain with John voting on this, are they, Josh? Just, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, John. I'm just trying to save you.
I can't, I don't know if someone's going to complain or not. It's a donation of equipment. I can't see what the conflict is.
Okay, that's fine. Anyway, my vote is yes, but I just,
okay. Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes?
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 20-232, resolution authorizing leasing of certain vehicles through Sourcewell National Cooperative, number 060618-EFM through Enterprise Fleet Management Services, Inc. Quote number 4808709, color is blue metallic. This resolution authorizes the leasing of certain vehicles. May I have a motion to approve resolution 20-232?
Motion to pass resolution 20-232?
Second.
Okay, I just have a fast question on this, just because of if it's fire. Are these, is this for police cars and not fire cars? Mayor or Chuck, are you aware of which one it's for? And the reason I'm asking, in case, I know, John, you don't like to
Unmute, Chuck.
vote if it's going to the fire department, so I want to make sure we're both covering you tonight, John.
Mhm.
I think, didn't we do the fire last time and they were red?
Yeah, I started to tell you that, but I was muted still. Yes, we did fire at the last meeting. This is for the police department.
I
Okay.
just didn't want to take any chances on that, so
Yep.
we can move to a vote then. Roll call, please.
Sure. Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution 20-233, resolution authorizing leasing of certain vehicles through Sourcewell National Cooperative 0606618-EFM through Enterprise Fleet Management Services, Inc., quote number 4808073, color antimatter blue metallic. This resolution also authorizes the leasing of certain vehicles. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 20-233?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Resolution number 20-234, transfer resolution, balance transfers. This resolution authorizes balance transfers. May I have a motion to approve Resolution 20-234?
Motion to pass 20-234?
Yes.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I believe this was for the $37,000, correct? Or no, that wasn't that one.
No, this
That's the ordinance.
is the 36-8. This is a transfer.
Okay.
I think he was making the motion, wasn't he?
I was making a motion to pass resolution 20-234.
Right.
Thank you.
Second that motion.
And I have a question on this. This is something that I had brought up previously about transferring money within the budget. And moving $20,000 for the planner, what is that specifically for? Is that for the trail?
No, go ahead, Charles.
It's the town center project where we have to refile with the state a new plan. And she's been working on this probably going back to the spring.
Is this so we don't lose town center designation?
Correct.
Yes.
How often do they make us do this?
Well, fortunately, not all that often. I think the last time we did this was, what, 15 years ago? Is that when it was? About approximately?
Yeah,
I
I guess if we have,
I don't know the exact length of time, but I could find it. But I do know that our town center designation was running out. So there's a potential that is a certain amount of time. But council member, I don't know exactly, but I can find out for you.
I think it's safe to say it was 10 years ago, though, correct? You all in agreement with that?
I believe it was at least that. It might go back even further, but we'll check and get the exact amount of time for you.
okay, all right, thank you.
So we'll go to a roll call. We have the motion, right, in a
Yep.
second?
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes,
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Number 8, introduction, first reading of proposed ordinances. Ordinance number 20-21, ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending and supplementing Chapter 250, Article 2, entitled Fees and Escrows Enumerated to update fees for certified copies and to codify fees for vital statistics. This ordinance amends and supplements Chapter 250 of our code to raise fees for certified copies. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 20-21?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
yes,
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Ordinance number 20-22, an ordinance of the Township of Vernon, County of Sussex, State of New Jersey, amending Chapter 484 of the Municipal Code of the Township of Vernon entitled Soil Fill Placement. This ordinance amends Chapter 484 of our code entitled Soil Fill Placement. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance 20-22?
Motion to introduce ordinance number 20-22.
second,
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, so number 9, public hearing, second reading ordinances. Ordinance 20-20, capital ordinance providing for various improvements by the Township of Vernon in the County of Sussex, New Jersey, appropriating therefore the sum of $37,000 and providing that such sum so appropriated shall be raised from the capital improvement fund of the township. This capital ordinance provides for various improvements by the township. May I have a motion to open to the public hearing for the ordinance 20-20?
Motion to
Motion.
open to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Seeing no one. Anybody abstaining? I see no one. Okay, Marcy. Anyone who desires to speak?
I have no hands up, Council President.
Okay, thank you. Seeing no members of the public wishing to come forward, may I have a motion to close the public hearing for ordinance 2020?
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, let's go by roll call.
We need a motion to adopt.
Okay, well, but we're going to close, right? Anybody opposed to closing public comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Are we
Aye.
good? Okay. All right, now we need a motion to adopt. As said, may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 20-20?
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Auerberger,
Yes.
Councilmember Murphy,
Yes.
Councilmember Pittsger,
Yes.
Councilmember Weller,
Yes.
Council President Shortway. Excuse me.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We are now at number 10 on the agenda, public comment limited to 3 minutes on any topic. Please note public comments are limited to 3 minutes per person. Please state your name and the area where you reside. May I have a motion to open the floor to the public?
Motion to open the floor to the public.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And nobody's abstaining? Okay, motion carries. Floor is open.
I have Ms. Palladini.
Okay? He has the floor.
Good evening. I just want to say that Jean Murphy is correct. John Auerberger is in conflict for having voted on the fire department equipment. You could laugh if you'd like, but I would suggest that you rescind your vote so that you don't have to have a complaint filed against you with the state. But the same rules apply. You can't vote to give away fire department equipment because you're a member of the fire department. And I believe you know that. So I'm just saying, if you want to rescind your vote, you could still do it within this meeting, or you could have a complaint filed with the state. Secondly, I just want to say that for the record, and that's the only reason why I'm saying it, because I don't think that any of you could care less about what I'm saying, but for the record, Mayor Burrell and this council owes me a public apology for framing me, falsely accusing me, harassing me. I never harassed anyone, never, not any volunteer. And the few people who are Harry's friends and his wife who came forward to claim that I did, it's just a joke, okay? But it's not a joke to me, you know? It's my reputation and it's my credibility that you are attempting to destroy. And you would never succeed in that because my credibility and my reputation and my integrity stand no matter how hard you try. But you know that this has nothing to do with harassing anybody. It has to do with an illegal solid waste dump, because as you now know from David Ongaro's report, everything that I've been saying for months is true. Mr. Ongaro came up, he discovered the buried solid waste, he discovered the wetlands violations, he discovered the buried asphalt under the vegetation, all of which are in his report that you now have to clean up. And I want to say that none of this had to happen if Mayor Burrell would only have done his job as the leader of this town and met with me when I told him I wanted to show him all the photographs. Now that's in writing by email, way back, going back to maybe April or March. I said, I'd like to show you all the photographs. And we now know that those photographs that I have are the same photographs that David Ongaro took 2 weeks ago. But instead, the mayor didn't want to see them. He didn't want to know what was on that site because, pardon the pun, he just wanted to bury it. So none of this had to happen. But you need to know that if I tell my mayor and council that there is wrongdoing going on in this town and they refuse to listen and they repeatedly ignore it, it will always be reported to the state. Thank you.
Anyone else, Marcy?
I have Sandra Ohms.
Okay. Ms. Holmes?
Hi,
Hello.
my name is Sandy Ohms from Vernon. And listening to Jesse Palladini just now, I've been wanting to say this for quite a while. I just want to make some comments here. The first elected mayor of Vernon, Mayor Murata, he had a YouTube channel, or he would film himself and put it on YouTube and put it on the town website. And he would post his updates and talk to the public. But he'd also disparage residents and bully them on this YouTube, which was placed on our website. Everybody was outraged at this behavior when he had done it. So the next person that came in as our mayor, our second, elected mayor, he used his Facebook page to disparage taxpayers. He went after people. I was on the council at the time, posted disparaging remarks about me. All this did was pit residents against residents. Now, moving along, the next mayor, the third elected mayor of this town, and that would be you, Mr. Mayor Burrell, went to the paper and used the town's website or Facebook page to disparage a resident and bully a resident. Each of these administrations is just getting worse than the previous. You spend your time and devote your time to disparage people. You don't have to like everybody, but you should be above this behavior. I can't believe the time and energy that's devoted to this behavior, which achieves absolutely nothing. The behavior is childish. If you would devote more time to reducing our taxes, all we hear is trails, 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 giving out raises, affirmations, but no talk of how you can reduce our spending. So the time you put into disparaging, maybe you could put that into coming up with ideas and initiatives to lower our taxes or at least stabilize them. I'm very disappointed and embarrassed for this town. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, Marcy?
Yes, I have Mr. Martin O'Donnell.
Martin, the
Can you
floor
hear
is
me?
yours and congratulations.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
First of all, I'd like to say I'm completely shocked at the rhetoric of the last two people. I I don't understand what planet they're on. Okay. I will tell you right off the bat that I have been at the hands of the bullying of Miss Palatini and the harassment of Miss Palladini. Okay. She is a narcissistic, evil human being. Okay. When I put my post on Facebook calling her out for her many things, one being a bully, one harassing, etc., I got enough comments on PM from people she's done the exact same thing to start a reality show. Okay. The bottom line is, I think you guys are doing the right thing. Okay. You've all individually been attacked by this woman at least once or twice, or maybe even 10 times. The previous administrations have been attacked by her, and the ones before that have been attacked by her. Okay. She has not liked a single thing that has been done in this town for God knows how long. Okay. I don't have a lot of the history, but believe me, I've had conversations with people over the past couple of weeks about this. Okay. I will tell you that I personally left the Economic Development Committee because of her. All right. It's a volunteer position. I was going to enjoy myself doing it, and she made it impossible to do that. Okay. She attacks anybody that doesn't agree with her. She supports people when they go in office, but when they disagree with her, she comes at them with a vengeance. Okay. And I, for one, am sick of it because I'm tired of her saying that we're, I forget what she said, the laughing stock of Sussex County. How's that feel? Okay. And when in reality, I think she's the laughing stock of Vernon. Okay. Because people go onto her Facebook page for entertainment purposes. Okay. And it's not productive. So I implore you as a town council and a mayor to ignore the rhetoric that comes from that direction. And I also want to compliment you on the proactive approach with the solid waste dumping on the DPW site that a lot of people don't know is actually proactive. All right. You guys have been taking action on this from what I gather from opening documents for at least a year. All right. You guys hired Excel Environmental prior to anybody putting in a complaint to the DEP. Okay. And it's not as bad as the whole world's making it out to be. Yeah, there's some issues there. And yeah, it's going to cost the town some money. But it's nothing that the town wouldn't have had to do anyway with or without a pump track. And indeed, you folks were in the process of remediating a lot of what was there. Okay? And you got to be careful about the wordsmithing too. How, asphalt was, I forget what the word used, but underneath vegetation. Well, I'm sorry, plants grow. Let's be real here. Okay? So I want to thank the town council and the mayor for what I would consider doing a good job, trying to be proactive. Okay? And indeed, if hiring Excel Environmental was a product of her telling you about this, well, then job well done. Okay? But I think that removing her or asking for her resignation from the Historical Society was spot on. There's no way that anybody in this town should be that unprofessional, okay, and be in a position where they're in the public eye for this town. Thank you.
You're welcome, Martin.
I have,
Anyone else, Martin?
yeah, I have Peg DeStassi.
Okay. Ms. Stassi, you have the floor.
Good evening. I would like to make a comment on public and Zoom meetings. I am a member of the Environmental Commission. I've been requesting, especially in light of the fact that Vernon has become a hotspot in our county, that our Environmental Commission meeting continue as a Zoom meeting, but we are being led by somebody who wants them to be held in the town hall in person. I, for one, have problems with going to public places because of my age as well as health conditions. I do not feel that I should be stopped from doing my duty as an environmental commissioner because of the chair wanting this to be a in-person meeting. Nobody else in this town is holding an in-person meeting. I do not understand why the Environmental Commission has to. Thank you.
You're welcome, Peg.
I have Dan Kraus.
Good evening, Dan. You have the floor.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Just want to make a quick comment. This is Dan Kraus from Glenwood. Another great meeting, and just wanted to resonate that over the past month, I'm seeing a lot of out-of-towners trying to claw and bid their way into this township, which is a nice sign that something's being done right. There's very few houses for sale around here, and the ones that are, they're selling quickly, and that's a sign of amazing things. And when you talk to those that are moving in, and you get their feedback, they've heard nothing but wonderful things about this town. They want to raise their children here and stay here for many years. So, you know, great work, and thank you for everything you do.
Thank you, Dan. Marcy?
I don't see, let me just check chat. I don't see anybody else wanting to speak.
Did we have any emails before this come in, Marcy?
No.
by chance?
Yeah, my internet is quite unstable. So if I'm lagging behind, everybody's frozen, but I am hearing people.
Oh.
Can I have a motion to close public comment then? Marcy said she sees no further hands.
I don't.
Motion to close the
public comment.
Second.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Marcy was, okay, here we go. Is anybody opposed?
No.
Marcy, was anybody opposed? Like I said, my internet is acting up and I'm slow.
No, nobody was.
I'm not hearing everything. Okay, let's move on to the mayor's comments then. Mr. Mayor, floor is yours.
I hope that things don't freeze up on us.
Let's hope not.
Yeah, Mr. Council President and other council members, on tonight, 2 items will be the focus of my comments to you and to the Vernon public, which are our joint constituents. Item 1, this Wednesday, November the 11th, is the day that we have set aside in our nation to recognize and honor our nation's veterans. Therefore, my comments tonight are made not simply as the mayor of Vernon Township, but also as one of the 18.8 million veterans currently living in the USA today. Almost 8,000 of those veterans live right here in Sussex County, with almost 2,000, that is 25% of all the ones that live in Sussex County actually live in Vernon Township. As I comment briefly on behalf of my fellow veteran brothers and sisters, I want the public to know that when we veterans hear the words, "Thank you for your service," please know that these few words but powerful words, often bring some light into what for many veterans are days that are often physically, days that are often especially mentally and emotionally dark, due directly or in great part to things that we have experienced in the service of our country. And while our spirits are heightened by comments such as, "Thank you for your service," the real truth is that we need more. But we are the ones who carry, and we carry this not just for ourselves, but for our collective nation as a whole. We are the ones who carry the mental, the emotional, and physical burdens and pains that result from the implementation of decisions that are actually made by others. Some of these burdens and pains are very visible and quite apparent. They can be easily seen in the physical strain and toll that war has taken on our bodies. However, what is often not visible and apparent are the burdens and pains that we bear as a result of the many mental, the moral, and emotional conflicts that are a natural part of war, and that make it extremely difficult and even impossible for many of my fellow veterans to live a normal life without some help from the nation that we have served. And the help that we need and deserve starts with you, the public, ensuring that we are not forgotten by those elected officials who you put in office, by those elected officials who decide that war is the right response to a particular issue. You need to make sure that they don't forget us. We need for you to specifically ensure that those elected officials know and understand that we veterans consider our nation's promise to help us deal with the many physical, mental, moral, and emotional burdens that we carry. We need for you to especially ensure that these elected officials know and understand that you share our belief that this promise that our nation has made to its veterans should not and cannot be broken. This is one way that all Americans can ensure that future Veterans Days will be better Veterans Days for all U.S. veterans. So please remember that. Item 2. On tonight, I use a portion of my report to update you and the public on some positive, objective results that serve as additional confirmation that the mayor and council are moving in a safe, scientifically supported direction as it relates to our collective decision concerning the location of the proposed municipal pump track amenity. As you're aware, in support of the long-term economic development efforts of our town, it's our collective belief that the best place to locate this amenity is in the town center area off of Black Creek Drive, where the existence of sewer service lines and capabilities greatly enhance the potential for this amenity to be an attraction for additional needed business and services for the residents of our town. And in spite of what I've been told is being repeated by a few in some Facebook posts, I have absolutely no reason to believe or conclude that this Black Creek Drive site is nothing more than but one of the many beautiful and safe locations in our township for families and visitors to be able to enjoy an amenity such as a pump track. In my previous statements on this matter, I have said that I would not agree to or approve any plan that would build a family-friendly facility on a site that I believe was not safe. And that's a commitment that I'll keep. Again, I ask this question: why would I do otherwise? In this, as well as any other technical matter faced by our town where I am authorized to make the decision, I will always be guided by the objective, scientific, and technical data that's made available to me by credible professionals. Because it's not in the best interest of this town or its residents, I will not be guided by those few individuals who are the loudest, who are the most frequent, who are the most angry, and the most prolific posters on Facebook. And I'm sure that you and the majority of the public will understand why I most certainly will not be guided by the words and Facebook posts of those individuals who have entered into what some have described to me as an unholy, destructive alliance with the individual whose toxic waste mountain has done more environmental and image harm to our beautiful town than perhaps anything in our town's current history. Now, the positive, objective results that I spoke of at the beginning of these comments come from an October the 27th visit to our town by DEP Inspector David Ungaro. Mr. Ungaro's visit to the 11.3 acre site where we plan to use slightly over 1 acre to build a municipal pump track was made at the request of the mayor's office. We made this request after hearing reports that on October the 15th, 13 days earlier, Mr. Ungaro had visited this piece of property with Vernon resident Mr. Joe Wallace, who had directed Mr. Ungaro to a specific location on the 11.3 acre site where Mr. Wallace said that materials had been deposited on this site some years ago. During the October the 27th visit, Mr. Ungaro made at the request of the mayor's office, he took a municipal team. This team consisted of the DEP, the DPW chief, the municipal engineer, the business administrator, council president Pisker, and myself to the specific location where Mr. Wallace had directed him to visit. He said that prior to the direction of Mr. Wallace, he had not been on this location during his several previous visits to the site. And neither had any member of the town's team that was on this visit been to this location before, because quite frankly, we also had not considered this location to be town property. The location was an area with some trees. It had lots of weeds. It had lots of vines and other heavy vegetation, which made it very difficult to get to and even to walk through. This area also sloped approximately 30 feet down from the elevation of the 11.3 acres of town property where we plan to build a pump track. And this area is located almost 2 football fields distance from the specific place where we have planned the pump track. What Mr. Ungaro showed us at this location was some historically deposited debris consisted of an empty old rusty oil tank, several dozen tires, some concrete, some plastic pipes, some decaying carpet, and some pressure-treated lumber. While we are not sure that this debris is located on town property, you should know that that is not an issue that we have any interest in debating at this time. And now that we have learned about this debris, we have moved forward with determining just what's required to remove and properly dispose of this debris. During this visit, I specifically asked Mr. Ungaro if there was anything that he had observed in any way during this visit or previous several visits that gave him any reason to believe that any portion of this 11.3 acre site was, quote, toxic. His response was a firm no. On a separate occasion, during this same visit, Council Member Piska asked Mr. Ungaro the same question, and he again answered a firm no. In addition, in a follow-up discussion with Mr. Ungaro concerning some questions that I had about his report of this October the 27th visit, he stated, and I quote, "I did not find any indication of hazardous waste at this site." And so, members of the council and the public, with this additional firm confirmation of the safety of this site, I feel comfortable and I feel confident about the mayor and council's decision to move forward with our plans to locate our municipal pump track amenity on this site and locate it in an area where we believe that it will join with our planned walking and biking trail to contribute to the advancement of the economic objectives of this town. The members of the public who gave us their vote of confidence to lead expect us not to lose focus in spite of all of this talk that's going around us. They expect us to act like leaders. And in that regard, as the mayor of this town, I gladly take what we in the U.S. military call the lead position, the point of the spear. Let's continue our collective efforts to move our town forward. Mr. Mayor and Council, that is my meeting report tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for those great comments about our veterans also. Appreciate it. Thank you. It means a lot coming from a veteran. Okay, let's go to council comments. Jean, you lead off, please.
Sure. Let's see. I received the email, and I guess we're all aware that on November 7th that the property that the town is looking to purchase for the trail, that there was a couple members, I guess, of the Open Space Committee met. And I think, Harry, you were there, and Mike Fury, along with Bob Kinase. So I'm just wondering, Bob Kinase, the presentation that he made, was it anything different than what he's made before?
I would review his previous presentations, but what I did suggest to him that he appears before the council in the near future and do another presentation.
Yeah, it would be good, because I think, actually, I think the next open space meeting, because he, like I said it before, he was supposed to be at the last open space meeting and he didn't show up. And it would be good if he, you know, if he did come before the council and the public to be able to do the presentation, because like I said, if you and Mike went there, and that's all well and good, but the two of you have been involved in this from the beginning, so you're well aware of what the proposal is. The rest of the council is not, to my knowledge. So it would be good if he could do that. And there's something I just wanted to bring up, because I don't know that anyone's necessarily against even the purchase of that property, but the one that was 11.8 and now it's in fact 7.24. My issue is always the price. But the documents that I had from the Open Space Committee, the County Open Space, and those documents are posted online. It stated that, and I made everyone aware of it, it stated that the town was in negotiation with a neighboring property, which is the Stanhill property. So I'm just trying to understand what the concept is here, because if in the end of 2015, the town acquired a large portion of the Stanhill property. Actually, it went under the PIL Conservatory at that time, and it was a tax lien foreclosure. And that's block 391, lot 1, or I'm sorry, the new block is 395, lot 1. That's 130 acres. And like I said, that was through a tax lien foreclosure. So we have that property that we acquired. And if I'm understanding correctly, according to the documents that were presented in the narrative from Bob Canase, that if the township, and I'm not sure who that is because the council is the Open Space Committee for the town, there's the 107.73 acres, which is block 395, lot 5, because on that map, it appears that the town is in discussion of acquiring that property. And I believe that's the property that we just acquired, that Mr. Mulvihill gave us the easement for the trail. So I guess I'm just curious why we would want so many hundreds of acres, if that's the case. And is the mayor aware that we own that other 130 acres? And then you come up, and then we have the 7.24 acres, which we're looking at now. So, like I said, it's one thing to own some of this acreage, but do we really need that much? And, you know, I would just like to really know what's going on, and is this all contiguous? Because the map I'm looking at shows it. And if anyone's interested, I can certainly, if the council members, you can actually get those lot and blocks and just get them from the tax assessor's office. Because that's a big concern, because I'm not quite sure why and if anybody has an explanation of why we would need that much, please let me know. But I don't see the reason for all of that. So like I said, maybe if you know, somebody could just let me know, but I'll give you a map. Do we have an update on the short-term rentals? Did anybody?
I don't.
We thought that we'd give an update on the short-term rentals in an executive session when we thought we were going to have it. Is there anything, Chuck, based on the conversation we had today, that you'd like to say about that? I'm not so sure we're prepared just to give an update at this point. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. I just unmuted myself. Unfortunately, we had a setback with the management company that we acquired or hired, and they were acquired by another company, which left it in a little bit of disarray with the personnel that were supposed to be working for us. We lost probably about 2 months period of time, but we're back on track now. And as I explained to them, the most important thing to us right now is that we move forward with collecting the tax money from the people who have been conducting short-term rentals in the township since the ordinance was passed this past February. And I told them that is the priority. We need to put that information out to those people who have been renting their homes during that period of time, and let them know what we believe that they owe us based upon the information that our management company has been able to obtain. So I was told today that I will get something to review and that we can probably put out hopefully before Thanksgiving to those people who have been running active short-term rentals in Vernon Township since February.
I would say, and I don't want to mess this up, Chuck, because you and I both were talking about this, but the basic thing is that the company that we selected, very reputable company, they've got most of the business on the Northeast, with Boston being their largest customer. And I think because they were so successful, they were bought out by another company. And quite frankly, what happens when one company buys another out, some people leave. And unfortunately, our specific contact left the company. And, you know, the mother company, the current company's own, it wasn't as professional as I thought that they would be, because they didn't tell us directly. We had to go search this out. But today we finally got an opportunity to talk. I believe that person was a vice president, right, Chuck?
Now, the director of customer post.
Yeah.
Yeah, the company.
But we got caught in one of these things where
the company.
Yeah, but that's really what happened. But we were told we're going to get somebody now and we're going to move forward. We laid down the law to them, for lack of a better word, what we thought our priorities were. We want to get the money. I appreciate the council and the public being patient with us on this, but a little embarrassing. You know, when one company buys out another, the persons leave, and you know, we're on the phone trying to find somebody. It's, you know, quite frankly, I think there are two major companies that do this. But I tell you, quite frankly, if I had 4 or 5 options, I'd be firing people. It's ridiculous, really. But we hope everything's going to move forward from now.
Well, you know, and I don't want to bring up, you know, old things, but, you know, at some point you have to. And I would like to say, I'm sorry, Harry, but if people want to talk about posting online and disparaging people, you spared nothing when it came to the short-term rental. And all I asked for is, how is this going to work? How do we try it? Because from what I understand, fire inspections, the safety aspect of it isn't happening either, is it? Unless somebody comes in and volunteers this information. So here we are in November, and nobody from the town, you know, because yes, you could say the company didn't perform, but where was administration with this? You know, if the company's not doing it, we just sat back and we did nothing. So it was, you know, yeah, cheer for everybody because we passed the ordinance and nothing happened. So here we go into 2021 with the same thing. So, you know, you can blame the other company, but sometimes you really just have to look at what you're doing too.
I actually accept that, Mr. Councilperson Murphy. I accept that. I understand what you're saying, and I take responsibility for that.
And one thing, and not to mention John, but you know what? Everybody that shows up and starts complaining about people disparaging on Facebook, I'm not writing on Facebook. I've been written about plenty of times. And a lot has been said. As a matter of fact, the same thing goes, and I'll say it for John Wahlberger. He's not on Facebook. You know, we're not participating in social media. But I have been a victim from pretty much all administrations because I've been involved in all 3 of those administrations. And I have had, do I care? No, you know what? Go ahead and say what you please about me. At least you're leaving somebody else alone. But it is pretty disgusting when administration does it. And the last thing I'd like to do is I'd like to thank the county for paving Route 565 because it was long overdue. I know that they did patch it up a few years ago, but hopefully some of the cars slow down because I could hear them. I'm sure Andy has heard them, but you know, but at least it does look nice, and they've alleviated you know, possibly a lot of issues there. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. John, you want to go next?
Sure, I have a question for council. Gene asked it earlier, is there a problem with me voting on equipment that is being donated, retired turnout gear? If there is, I will change. If there is not, I will keep my vote as it is.
John, I said earlier, I don't believe it's a conflict.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had for you. The only thing I would else say, I don't want to get too political, but I just want to say to the folks that are out there listening, you know, we don't live in a red or blue country. We live in a red, white, and blue country. And listening to folks the last few days, the animosity that is out there, all I can say, regardless of until the certification that's done, just try to be a better person. Just try to reach out a hand to somebody, make a donation to a food bank. Lord knows they need it. And just, if you can do something, this is how this country is going to move forward either way. And that's all I have to say.
Harry frozen. He looks frozen.
Thank you, John. Kelly, can you hear me?
I can, yes. I have no comment this evening. Thank you, Harry.
Marcy, can you hear?
I can hear you. Yes.
Thank you, John. Okay, Andrew.
Yes, actually, let's lift it up, and John, it's a nice touch, that it really is, and I'd like to follow up with catching somebody doing something right. On Saturday, I was driving down Route 94, and I was going past the Vernon sign as I headed towards Hardiston, and I saw a young lady picking up garbage, just picking up garbage. I pulled over and I had to ask, what are you doing? She goes, I do this on my day off because I don't like seeing this. Just an individual citizen. For that individual citizen, I commend them. I've also gone to the beautification committee and also wanted to make sure that they recognize her. This young lady, along with a young gentleman who came across the street to get the full bag from her, she kept working for another 2 hours because when I came back, she was on the other side of the road. So I'd like to personally thank Victoria Colster. She's a local Vernon resident, works in the town. And the only thing is I said is that please email me because I'd like to make sure you get a safety vest. So we're going to make sure she gets a safety vest and try to see if we can get her a gift certificate for lunch someplace in town. But that's a nice thing for a change to see that done. So catch somebody doing something right for a change is one thing. Regarding the other note, which was the DPW pump track, Mayor, you summed it up real good. We're stewards of this town, and we take the responsibility and actions of the past mistakes of others, and we're going to do the right thing for Vernon. My question, though, is to those people who pointed this out to us, my question to them is, what will you do the right thing and clean up your mess, especially the one on Silver Spruce? That's all I have to say.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Okay, so it's my turn at this time. Mayor, I really want to thank you again for those great comments about Veterans Day, having two sons that fought in Afghanistan and one also fought in Iraq and coming from a family of veterans. Thank you. And I understand what veterans go through because I've seen it with so many members of my family. And I'd also like to wish any Marines out there happy birthday. Tomorrow's the Marine Corps birthday, so Semper Fi out there to all the Marines. November 10th, followed by Veterans Day. So I want to talk about right now the situation at the DPW storage dump. In 1986, Vernon fought to keep contaminated dirt out of our town. There was an article in the Times that talked of Vernon Township, quiet town is noisy with revolt, by Robert Hanley. And as I said, it was in the New York Times. I'm going to quote some of that article. The dirt is contaminated with radium, a decay product of uranium. Years ago, the dirt was used as fill in Montclair. As radium decays, it emits radioactive gas, radon. State officials plan to blend the tainted soil with fresh gravel in Bob Baldwin's quarry. The mixing, they insist, will eliminate dangers. The residents fear otherwise and have demonstrated all summer. The state has court approval to truck the soil here, but has delayed the shipments pending a review of the plan by an independent committee. Although the town is small, residents say it has a big heart. Since 1983, 2 residents, I'm not going to put their names in now, have undergone liver transplants in Pittsburgh. Neither could afford the operation, but everybody pitched in to help. First for the female and then for the male, the town mobilized and staged fundraising events from band competitions to softball and baseball marathons with dozens of teams. About $100,000 was raised for the 2 operations. Both were successful. This is the Vernon that I know and I love. But now I'd like to see some outrage, because I'm outraged. Joe Wallace, a convicted environmental violations in New York, who owns and is responsible for the largest toxic waste dump in Vernon's history, has done nothing to remove that toxic soil from our community. The HP chairperson, out of revenge, is attempting to stop our progress for both passive and active recreation and economic stability for all our residents. Her actions are contrary to the will of the majority of the voters in our town who support the agenda presented by the mayor and I with this council's support. The HP's chairperson's acts are retaliatory because I, as mayor, stopped the flow of thousands of taxpayer dollars into the Vernon Historical Society. She was and is the resigning president. Also, I refused to appoint her to the land use board. She sued the township, mainly my actions, and it cost the taxpayers $33,000 to defend my administration from her frivolous claim. Now, Wallace and the chairperson are allies to deflect attention from Wallace's failure to clean up his toxic waste mountain and the chairperson's attempt to create hysteria by calling the DPW storage yard a toxic waste dump. I'm going to read some things from the DEP site. Solid waste includes residential, commercial, and institutional solid waste generated within a community, which is termed municipal solid waste or MSW. Solid waste also includes items such as construction and demolition waste and bulky waste. Historically, solid waste was disposed of with relatively unsophisticated methods, including the use of local dumps where waste often was stored for long periods of time in the open air. At one time, New Jersey had more than 400 landfills in operation. Many of these old landfills were small, privately owned, operated sites, and some were poorly managed. New Jersey's hazardous waste management regulations parallel the federal hazardous waste regulations that were established through the Resource Conservation Recovery Act of 1976 and the Hazardous and Solid Waste Amendments of 1984. Mandatory Source Separation and Recycling Act, New Jersey, SA 13:1E-99.11 calls for the collection and proper disposal of abandoned or illegally dumped scrap tires, which are potentially breeding sites for mosquitoes, and seeks to establish a market development policy and product stewardship principles. Decades ago, the DPW storage yard was an active farm. In our own code 227-11, exemption for farming practices. Specifically, this chapter shall not be interpreted or enforced so as to interfere with or attempt to impose any restriction or penalty upon any farm operator, procedure, practice, or owner. Vernon Township has specifically adopted a right to farm ordinance and recognizes the existence of standard farming practices, and this chapter shall not be interpreted so as to overrule or interfere with said practices. Tires are used in farming practices. It is common for tires to be used to hold down tarps over your silage during the winter months. Mike Fury and I inspected the debris field last Saturday. It is quite large and extends into the adjacent conservatory hundreds of feet from our storage site. It appears at this time the vast majority of waste is not municipal waste. Based on the debris field, the approximate age of the hardwood trees in relation to the observed debris and type of debris, the solid waste was discarded by a commercial source using the power line easement for access, or simply solid waste used legally on a farm. The debris is decades old, possibly before solid waste legislation was even enacted. Examination of tires found multiple manufacturers and sizes. Many tires were not suitable for municipal use. Some of the tires I examined are heavy-duty lowboy and 13-inch tires commonly used for horse trailers, Pintos, Vegas, Toyotas, and Datsuns. The observed solid waste has no effect on the proposed trail or bike pump track because of its location. The proposed amenities are approximately 30 feet above and hundreds of linear feet north of the debris. The tires and rusting metal represent little safety concern except for mosquitoes. Any seepage would have occurred decades ago and would need to defy gravity to reach the proposed recreation sites. It is simply solid waste that may not even be totally on the township property. Unfortunately, this type of debris is common throughout our community as a result of the farming industry and the lack of regulations prior to 1980s. There is even solid waste on the backside of the Black Creek site on the Maple Grange Road. The Vernon Historical Society is the steward of this state-owned property. Neither entity has shown any concern for the old farm equipment and car that are probably 60 years old that are rusting away on the site. This governing body administration will do the right thing. I thank the HPC chairman for bringing this to our attention. I was not aware of the debris as much of it lies partially buried under soil and vegetation. We will clean the debris up. Unfortunately, it will now have to be done quickly and funded by taxpayer dollars because of the false allegations that created an unnecessary alarm that it's toxic. I conclude with these words spoken by the great American General Colin Powell. We have come to live in a society based on insults, on lies, and things that just aren't true. It creates an environment where deranged people feel empowered. With that, I close my comments. John, can we have a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Can I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Seeing none, meeting is closed. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
And
you.
remember
Take care.
veterans on the 11th, Marines tomorrow. Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Thanks.